Welcome to National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on National Focus, Colombia and Dominica to partner in healthcare services. Prime Minister Skerrit speaks of building the spirit of community this independence, and designs are being finalized for Dominica's new hospital. Stay with us as we bring you details of these stories and more when National Focus returns. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. Healthcare continues to be one of the most important issues on this government's agenda, and as such, the Ministry of Health is seeking to collaborate with Colombia to access quality healthcare for Dominican citizens. We begin our news coverage with this report from GIS's Tanya Green.
This week, the Ministry of Health met with a team of visiting representatives from Comiva Medical Group Health Division of Colombia and One World Global Healthcare Solutions Group to discuss how best they can work with Dominica in providing quality healthcare to Dominican citizens. Comiva is a cooperative that groups thousands of professionals in Colombia and offers a wide range of products and services. Health services by the group have been extended to Caribbean countries such as Dominica.
Comiva represents a network of hospitals, clinics, physicians, insurance programs, and other healthcare-related organizations and professionals that cover the total spectrum of healthcare. In the team of 13 that they have come with, you have physicians, international patient department managers and directors, you have the air ambulance administrator that's here. So in reality, you have the complete range of healthcare services. So please, they are here to talk to you and answer any questions that you have.
While on island, the Comiva team will familiarize themselves with the island's healthcare services and seek to provide new opportunities for Dominicans to access economical healthcare and medical services travel. Dominica's Health Minister, Honorable Julius Timothy, welcomed the medical team to the island.
We have a team today with us of Colombian medical doctors from several medical fields, internal medicine, oncology, orthopedics, and there are also 4 hospitals represented and physicians who will gladly dialogue with our local doctors.
The Health Minister is expecting a mutually beneficial relationship to develop between Dominica and Colombia.
This week's visit will be a relationship nature for Comiva and the government of Dominica. And from this visit, we can develop this relationship and make it official. Even without disagreement, we've already had Dominican patients in Colombia.
The minister had high praise for the speed and high level of care provided to Willie Gregoire, the husband of Dr. Carissa Etienne, who was recently treated in Colombia. Comiva provided air ambulance services to get Mr. Gregoire to Colombia.
In fact, when Dr. Etienne and I came back from Colombia, within about 3 days, her husband developed some problem, and it was so appropriate. I just picked up the phone, I called Mauricio, and he told me within 8 hours a medical ambulance can be here, and to do what has to be done. And we took a little time, though, sorting out the thing, but by the next day, Dr. Etienne and her husband were in Colombia getting the best, absolute best treatment.
The health minister says the cost of getting medical treatment in Colombia is affordable compared to services provided in the French island of Martinique.
Generally, Comiva's services are very cost-effective, and it is about 60% cheaper than the US, and certainly would be even a much higher percentage than Martinique.
To date, 3 Dominicans are receiving medical assistance in Colombia thanks to the Comiva Group. It is hoped that this week's visit by the Comiva officials will be better poised to provide seamless assistance to Dominica in the area of healthcare. For National Focus, I am Tanya Green reporting.
Thank you, Tanya, for that report. In more health-related news, plans are afoot for the construction of the new Princess Margaret Hospital to be funded by the People's Republic of China. Health Minister Honorable Julius Timothy disclosed on Tuesday that design plans are now in progress with a Chinese design team. The minister said Comiva has expressed interest in assisting in finalizing details of the new hospital.
Next week, I'm expecting the Chinese design team to come and look at the space to see how we can fashion a new hospital here while this one continues operation. And Comiva as well has promised me, as soon as we have the Chinese design, to send it to them, and they will get their experts to look at it to ensure that it is workable.
The minister says government wants to ensure that the new hospital is built with the highest level of structural integrity to meet international health standards.
One of the first things these days with hospitals, you have to ensure that it fits within the safe hospital construction concept. It must fit into that, because you don't want to build a hospital and the first hurricane or minor earthquake or something, that your hospital is the first institution to go. So we have to ensure that, our hospital is of sound construction.
Comiva has promised to assist Dominica's health sector, beginning with training of the island's medical staff. In other news, Minister for Community Development, Honorable Gloria Shillingford, has applauded Dominicans overseas who continue to contribute to Dominica's progress from their areas of the world. Honorable Shillingford praised Dominican Carissa Etienne, who now holds the post of Director General at the Pan American Health Organization.
Only last week, Dominica experienced a triumphal moment when daughter of the soil, Dr. Carissa Etienne, was elected to the esteemed position of Director General of PAHO, bringing great pride to this small developing country.
The minister encouraged Dominicans abroad to bring recognition to the island by advancing themselves in their chosen fields, since she believes that improving oneself also positively affects Dominica. The minister acknowledged Dominican associations abroad that hold their own cultural events.
It is extremely gratifying when Dominicans abroad excel and make us proud. Their achievements do not bring esteem to them only, but to the entire citizenry. Furthermore, Dominicans in the diaspora can continue to make their contributions to the development progress in their respective fields and through their various groups and organizations. I am aware that there are various Dominican organizations in different countries around the world that promote Dominican culture and organize their own cultural activities to coincide with our national independence celebrations. Only last week, I was honored to have attended one of these organizations' celebrations in Canada. Good job to the organizers. I urge all Dominicans to take up the mantle, no matter what your area be, and play your part in the developmental process. No contribution is insignificant.
Minister Shillingford was speaking at the official opening of Independence celebrations last Saturday at the Old Mill Cultural Center. Meanwhile, the plant quarantine unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with CARICOM, has put in place a working group to deal with invasive species. During the past 10 years, there have been rapid introductions of invasive species on the island, which has caused significant economic difficulties for Dominica and the rest of the region.
Through an initiative by CARICOM, we have put a working group together to deal with invasive species. and the potential impact of these dangerous exotic pests. And CARICOM, together with USDA, APHIS, CADI, ICA, and the Plant Protection Forum, we have put a group together to deal with the possible introduction of invasive species into the region.
Anselm notes that invasive species can be difficult to manage, hence the need for the general public to be vigilant and to adhere to importation measures stipulated by the Plant Protection Unit.
What makes invasive species dangerous is that most of the introduction of the alien invasive species, they come without natural control, and when they come, they are very difficult to manage. And that is why we're asking the general public, everyone involved in the agricultural sector, traders, hucksters, travelers, researchers, to adhere strictly to the measures, the plant protection and quarantine measures for the importation of agricultural produce. There are measures in place and there are requirements to import and to export agricultural produce. And by doing that, we will allow us to develop what we call scientifically a pest risk analysis. That is a scientific assessment of how and when this agricultural produce can come into our shores. So we are asking the general public to work with the Ministry of Agriculture to adhere to all quarantine measures, to all the border control measures to prevent this invasive species from coming into Dominica.
With the advent of climate change, the likelihood of invasive species in Dominica is greater, hence the reason for importers and exporters of agricultural produce to be even more watchful. In other news, government continues to appeal to Dominicans to take care of the elderly. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit spoke to relatives and community members who neglect to show concern for the senior citizens of the country.
We still have too many of our families or grandparents who are left alone to fend for themselves, when in some cases they have relatives and friends living right next to them. That their children here in Dominica, that their children overseas who have forgotten their parents and grandparents. That has been part of our culture or heritage, looking after our grandparents, because they looked after us when we were small. And now they can't fend for themselves. We have a responsibility as a people to care for our people. And I continue to challenge us to care for our grandparents.
The country's leader also said that care of the elderly generates the sense of hospitality for which Dominicans are renowned. The Honorable Prime Minister encouraged citizens to demonstrate that spirit of warmth to both Dominicans and tourists equally.
When you travel the world and people speak about Dominica, they always, in a positive way, set aside Dominica from many countries. And they say to you, I visit Dominica, and one thing you can say about Dominicans, they're very friendly and hospitable. And we must guard this very jealously, my dear friends, my dear Dominicans. We must continue to ensure that the whole world can continue to say that we are a friendly and hospitable people.
In related news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit wants for Dominicans to embrace the spirit of community, especially during this season of independence. He called for residents to look out for each other.
And we ask ourselves, why do we have so many people at the prisons? It is because we as a society have failed to look out and look after the rest of society. And while we progress, we must not move away from the whole spirit of a community. We can't be only bothered about ourselves and our children and not worry whether the child next door is going to school, or if he's not going to school, why is he not at school? What is he missing? So we can go out and lend a helping hand. So it is a time of celebration, but it's also a time for introspection. Introspection as individual citizens and residents, and introspection as a nation as a whole. And we have to correct some of our shortcomings, and we have to build on the beautiful things that we have done for Dominica.
Furthermore, the Prime Minister spoke of putting political and religious differences aside in the spirit of service to Dominica.
We may have differences with the government or the leadership of the country, but at the end of the day, our love, our pride in, and our commitment to Dominica's progress and development should never be compromised for political or religious issues.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join Marcus in St. Louis for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, qui a fait parole qui ont grand $50,000, ça c'est l'argent nous parlons pour payer, qui est dépensé pour exposition collectée pour l'école en Dominique. Selon Premier ministre Skerritt, exposition celle-là qui tient tous les learning hall l'année prochaine. Honorable Skerritt fait parole celle-là pendant qu'il était délivré une adresse pour ouvrir célébration en dépendant semaine passée. Honorable Skerritt a annoncé que l'exposition celle-là pas qu'en compétition, mais spectacle histoire pour la Dominique. En notre nouvelle, le ministre de l'Agriculture bien concerné contre un peu de bagaille qui a rentré le pays là, ça a créé une invasive species. Selon l'officier quarantine, ministre de l'Agriculture, Ansem, le département là a un programme pour contrôler ça.
Il n'y a pas de contrôle pour ces maladies là. Et pour les gens qui sont invasive species, il n'y a pas de bitan ça spray pour éradiquer. Il n'y a pas de pièces d'autres insectes pour gommer contre. C'est pour nous qui sont invasive. Pour nous les tout le monde travaille pour pêcher ces bagages ça en rentrer. Avec comme ça nous les black cigatoka, nous les citrus greening, giant African snail. Avec ça mon dit mon Dominique et pas Dominique seulement qui ni maladie ça là. Tout on croit là pour CARICOM, ICA, CADI avec USDA ni yo mettent un groupe ensemble pour gommer contre invasive species. Avec nous pour invasive species. Ça oui, moun savent contre lionfish là avec avian flu et toutes ces bagages ça tout ça c'est invasive species mais plan même ni invasive species qui affecte yo avec une qui affecte banane qui affecte coco avec toutes ces bagages ça là so programme quarantine ça nous qu'a fait nous qu'a éduquer moun comment yo ça mener ces plans ça rentrer.
Plusieurs activités qui en place qu'on Dominique a célébré 34 l'année qu'on pays indépendant. Grande célébration pour en place en Vieux-Moulin samedi qui passé pour officiellement ouvrir célébration là. Dr. Alwyn Bouli qui commencé series lecture assis ancien premier Edward Oliver Leblanc qui a pris place en hôtel à Fortune en Wozo jeudi semaine salam. Ministère Développement Community Honorable Gloria Shillingford déjà créé assez dominicain pour acheter le pays et puis une coopération pour le développement. Département culture a aussi créé assez public là pour observer tous les vendredis qu'on vendredi créole et puis habiller en quelque chose créole. Et puis finalement, habitants qui ont cultivé produits wet area en Bells, que tout de suite ni en chimie qui est bâti. Le gouvernement Dominique tape l'argent à valer $200,000 pour bâtir le projet Salam. Membre parlement Honorable Kelva Daru, qui a fait parole espoir que le projet Salam est bien significant, assister habitants et puis Rockstar qui a poursuivi ces produits Salam. Honorable Daru aussi fait parole que chimie là qui bâtit et puis dalle. Membre parlement Daru aussi bien plaisir pour le projet là pour mettre été fait en dernière élection. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour Nouvelle Créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Au revoir.
Up next is the tip of the day.
Hello, I'm Felix Anderson. Afternoon, and I'm here to tell you why it's better to buy your bag bread looking like this and not like Diabansak, a pig in a book, a cat in a bag. Come on, if it's bagged, it's got to be tagged. Let me show you what I mean. Hello, ma'am. Can you tell me what's in that bag?
So you're not seeing it's a brown bread?
It looks like one, but you sure it's a brown bread?
Your face looking like the brown bread.
Brown and proud. If it's bagged, it's got to be tagged. bakers, consumers, and retailers, please ensure that all your bagged bakery products clearly display brand name, product name, batch number, net contents, country of origin, list of ingredients, expiry date, identification code, and other important information about the product. Check the Dominica Bureau of Standards for details. So, am I right or am I right?
Here are a few tips on public speaking. 1. Relax. Begin by addressing the audience. It buys you time and calms your nerves. Pause, smile, and count to 3 before saying anything, and transform negative energy into enthusiasm. Also, visualize yourself giving your speech. Imagine yourself speaking. Your voice is loud, clear, and confident. Visualize the audience clapping. It will boost your self-confidence. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Or you could visit our GIS Dominica page on both YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching.